We're live. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
If anyone's there. How's everyone doing?
I'm okay.
That's good.
Same as a Monday,
Yeah.
After the weekend.
I'm so confused
Yeah.
about the day because I could have sworn, to me, today feels like a Thursday, and I can't tell you why, but just to me, today feels like a Thursday.
Well, in the UK, it was bank holiday, so I had a day off, so it definitely felt like Sunday.
Yeah.
Wasn't the case here. I had to work.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's quite good. Like, we have no days off, like, the rest of the year, but they saved them up for summer, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, I think majority bank holidays are in that summer period. I've only been employed since November, and I think my first one was like late March or something, or maybe April. So, yeah.
That's good. That's smart for people who are enjoying summer.
You know, British people go crazy in the summer.
Okay, so this is like a really stupid question, maybe, but what exactly does a bank holiday entail?
It's just a day off. So, like, we have days off for like Christmas and stuff. But then once in a while, there's like a random day that's off for no reason other than the government decided it's off. So it's just a day off. That's pretty much what it is. That's I think that's why it's called bank holiday, because it doesn't really stand for anything. It's just today is gonna be off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just it always confused me because I'm used to like having things, like Easter and Pentecost and Christmas and those kinds of days, but not really anything else as far as I'm aware. So I was just a bit confused because I know like we have two, like Christmas Day, we have like first and second Christmas Day here, which I think in the UK is like the second one is a bank holiday for you as well.
As in they're both off, but I don't know if one of them is like a bank holiday. I think no, it's called Boxing Day. It's just off.
Right, no, that's it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
That's weird.
Anyway, it just confuses me.
Yeah, here
it probably comes from somewhere. Like, in the past when the bank was closed, nothing else was working because no one was keeping money in the store and stuff like that. So I guess it comes from somewhere like, I don't know.
Very likely. I have no clue. I'm like, day off. Oh, well.
Yeah. Yeah. What were you going to say, Kira?
For us here in the States, it's Memorial Day for our soldiers. Right. So.
But is it just one day that's off?
Yes. Yep.
Oh. Because bank holiday, it's all called bank holiday, but it's just called like May bank holiday, and then you have a day off in May. Yeah. I actually had 2 in May, which is quite generous.
Yeah, for us in the Netherlands, we have like Memorial Day on May 4th. And they chose that date, I think, because on May 5th, it's Liberation Day from like Second World War. So they chose like the last day of what used to be the war to, remember all the soldiers. But it's not just World War II, it's just all the soldiers in every war ever. So
I was going to say, is it for Star Wars?
No.
Oh man, that'd be.
No, I think this was like implemented before Star Wars was a thing.
Yeah, no, obviously, but like whenever you say May 4th, as it is not a day off, I guess here, or is it?
For us, it's not a day off. No, it's just like in the evening at 8 p.m. sharp, we have like 2 minutes of silence, and then and a number of locations throughout the Netherlands that were like, important in the Second World War. We have like official, well, not like events, ceremonies. That's the word. Ceremonies, yeah.
No, I just want to say hello, Hannon.
Thank you for being here. Okay, well, now that people are here, we can talk about the book, right?
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. So we're going to be discussing Dreams of Gods and Monsters, in case anyone just stumbled in here. Yeah. So, do you want to start maybe with rating and like your quick thoughts? Maybe, I don't know, and then we can go deeper into it.
I mean, mine's basically the same answer for like the previous 2 books. Like, I'll be fair, and this is like more of like a 4-star than a 5-star, like more than it used to be, but I'm still keeping the 5-star because that's my original rating. But I've definitely become more critical, but still, it's just, for me, I think it's mostly just nostalgia, the fact that I love them so much. I'm not sure whether I would love them as much if I would read them for the first time now, if that makes sense. So, yeah, that's basically my short thoughts.
Who wants to go next? Kira?
So I knew I was probably going to like this book better than the second one because second one was all set up. This one I definitely did like a lot more. I felt like we really got like into everything like that we were setting up in the previous two books. Like we finally got to it. And it was definitely like a lot more touching. I will say like that I wasn't expecting it to end the way it did, but I really liked it. Like I thought it was really good.
Yeah. I personally did not read it yet. I don't know how I want to read it because like I lost interest in the second book and I was kind of bored, but not because it was bad or whatever. There are so many things we're going to talk about that I liked about that book and that I found like amazing, that the author did like an amazing job, and even like the characters development, etc. So I have so many good things to say about the book. It's just that I think that series was not for me. So I don't know if I will read the third one or not, because I feel like it's not fair, because if it wasn't for the read along, I would have not picked the third book. So I think like it was an amazing book, just not for me personally. So yeah,
it's very fair.
That makes sense. So for me, I feel like Hannah's comment actually really sums up my thoughts. I gave it 4.5, and we actually talked about the ending, and probably we're going to talk about the ending as well later. But yeah, the whole book was so good, but the ending I was like a little bit annoyed by. So I think in the end I became a bit like, it's not quite 5 stars because I feel so unsatisfied. So yeah, overall I thought it was really, really good. And I still like think it holds up and all that. But I was surprised actually that I feel like Strange the Dreamer is actually now like what I prefer from her series. And when I first finished reading Strange the Dreamer, this was so big in my memory as like the best book ever that I thought I would like this more. But having reread it, I actually don't think so anymore. So Eliza, sorry, got distracted.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did enjoy it, but yeah, I was a bit like annoyed with the ending.
yeah.
While we're on the subject, shall we just start with the ending then? I mean,
sure.
Since we already started talking about it.
Yeah. So should I just say why I didn't personally like it?
Yep.
So
Yep.
I thought it was really interesting. Well, spoilers as well, anyone, for this book, if you're here. So personally, I don't remember the whole subplot at all. And then I found it interesting that we had hints throughout the last book. And I think the whole, what's it called? The cataclysm, that's like really interesting. And I really, really like that. What I didn't like is what they turned out to be like the God Stars in the end. And I didn't hate it by itself, but it's just that it was in the last chapter and she's not writing anything else. So it's like either explore it more or don't put it on in the last chapter, because it felt so tacked on and just felt a little bit like she really wanted this in, but someone was like, oh, we can't have another book or whatever. So she like put it in without really paying it off, and it just felt a little bit unsatisfying. I was just like, I like that it wasn't all happy, and in the end it was complicated, and it wasn't like, oh, now they lived happily ever after. I like that point. I think it's just the whole concept of the God Stars for me came so out of nowhere. I was just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I really like that the ending wasn't necessarily happy, but it was like hopeful. I think that might be the best way to describe it. Like, you know, there's hope for a happy ending, but we're not quite there yet, but we can see it happening because we know, okay, for this happy ending, you know, winter needs to pass, and then we can resurrect all the people from the cathedral and everything. And I really like that. But I definitely get what you're saying, because for me, that's also one of the reasons why I would rate it lower now, because I feel like there's so much left to be said. And I think that could be both be a good thing, but also kind of a bad thing, because now there's so many unanswered questions that, for me, it feels like there's too many unanswered questions. Like, some unanswered questions are fine. Like, it leaves you wondering, and I think that also leaves the potential for more, because I do think that Lainey might write more in this series. Because it was so open, and also because, like Stranger Dreamer, the world is kind of connected, sort of. I mean, with the entire, like, the side-by-side dimensions and everything. So I think there might be more. I mean, it hasn't been confirmed, obviously, but yeah, that was definitely something that I mean, annoyance is a big word, but it's not quite annoyance, but it did kind of bother me a little bit that there were so many unanswered questions. And I think I have the same, what you said, Gabby, that, like, at first, like, well, nothing's going to top Daughter of Smoke and Bone because it's such a great series, and now that you've read it again, you're kind of like, well, actually. But I also feel like if I read Strange the Dreamer again, it might just... I just threw my new iPad on the floor. Oops. It might just switch around again. But I don't know, because I haven't reread Strange the Dreamer yet. So yeah, I definitely get what you're saying with all that.
I don't know, like, if I'm the only one, but I got, like, a little bit of Hades Persephone vibes at the end, but, like, a lot more permanent.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I guess you're right. Like, they can only see each other once in a while. And, like, yeah. For me, I actually like that. Sorry, I just lost my voice. I actually like that they stayed, like, separated a little bit. Like, didn't have an issue with that. It's just the whole, like, them becoming the godsters, but it was so vague because we didn't have time to explore what that even means, because I still don't really know what that means. What, they're gonna go have a big fight? Like, I guess. Just that was for me so.
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird to say that, but I wish that book was longer. Not the book, but the series. I mean, I wish there was one more book that would have given us more time to explore some things. And like Eliza, I wanted her before, way earlier in the book to make sense and to give her a bigger purpose, or like so we can feel some kind of connection, because I felt like she just popped here and I was like, okay, sure. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I felt like something was missing.
Yeah, I remember, like, especially when you're just reading it and suddenly Eliza pops up. Like, there's just really no, like, what's it called? Just 1 second. My mom's
Warning?
Yeah, just 1 second. My mom's calling.
Oh, no. Yeah, I don't think Lainey Taylor had it all planned out from what she said. So I think it was like a last-minute addition, and it kind of shows. Like, we definitely should have heard from her before to like wonder for a bit longer who she is.
Yeah, I think that's also, these books were, like, written under contract and very strict deadlines, from what I remember, which is also, like, she just isn't really able to do that. She's very perfectionist, from, like, interviews I've seen, and that really bothered her for these books. Like, these weren't the books that she actually wanted to write, as far as I'm aware. Like, she wanted to do things differently, but because contracts and deadlines, she wasn't able to. So, but I do think it shows.
Yeah.
Got some comments. I agree. It was just like, it was such an interesting concept, and we don't even get to see it. And it's like, why tease me like that?
But at the same time, I was really happy that, like, Eliza was introduced, so that we did learn what, like, the fallen angels and everything. So where Rosgood came from and what happened, because I think that may actually be my favorite part of the entire book. Just, I think I wrote that in my original review as well, like, back when it came out. Like, I just want a full book about those events, about, like, Melise and everything.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I was like fascinated by the whole cataclysm and how that went.
Yeah.
I mean, I might even be satisfied with a prequel for that.
Yeah, I just want a book about it, like more
Yeah.
than just the few chapters that we got, essentially. Yeah, and also what Hanan just said with like the colonizing stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like dudes, this turns out not to even be your own world, and you're like, but this is our world now. I'm like, bro, not cool.
Yeah, definitely the audacity and like having their memory erased just so the mages would like get out like free. And like I do feel bad in the end for Evenor's good because like they were chosen for this mission but they didn't instigate it. Like the whole all of their race basically signed off on it, and then the only people who got punished were them, but like they did what they were told to do. So it was really unfair. I was like,
I think that's also a big point of the book, a big theme. Like, yeah, well, life is unfair because like Karoo didn't sign up for this shit, for resurrecting everyone, basically, but well, she's kind of stuck there, and you know, Akiva didn't sign up for having magic and basically nearly tearing the world apart. But well, life sucks, and this is your lot in life. So I think that's a big theme, that you know, life is unfair, and some things are other people's faults, and they won't have any consequences for their actions.
That's actually another thing that I was really disappointed that they were teasing, but didn't really do anything with. The fact that Kiva's so powerful. They keep saying how it's not normal. So we're assuming he's a god star, but everyone else is a god star, and they're not super powerful. So I was just like, I just want a little bit more. Just so much to introduce without paying it off. It just feels really, really cheap for some reason. I don't know. I was like really not having it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
She also said I think it was interesting, like the conversation around like how I was actually wondering this when I was reading, like, how do you forgive the Seraphim for basically wiping out your whole race and just kind of move on? Because of course the characters that we were with, even the misbegotten who were like hanging out in the caves or whatever, like they got to know Chimera, so it makes sense they would change their mind and like grow and move on. But like all the other ones, how the hell do you convince them that literally everything they've ever known it was not it? And then I feel like they kind of did it like, the bad guy died and now everyone can be convinced. And I'm not convinced that everyone can be convinced because one person died, when this was their whole philosophy all along. So now,
like in real life, it's gonna take time, generations and generation. Like I feel it's not something you can forget. It's something you learn to live with and to like adjust your way of thinking or acting, whatever. But definitely not easy.
Yeah, I think I'm not making excuses for the book because I definitely agree with you. But I think this is just a general problem I have with YA, because we lost Kira. Oh no. Well, like what I was going to say is like, it's just in general, I think some things are just too easy, and I get that you can't show all the brutalities of war and everything in a YA book. I understand that, but that is generally my biggest pet peeve. Are you back? Is it working? Yeah. Yay. You were just gone, and I was like, oh no, we lost her.
Yeah. No, well, the thing is, right, with books that you end when the battle ends, but then there's so much left unsaid, and it's just, I guess, how books work, and that's how it is, because we need to have a happy ending. Although this one's not like super happy. It's like hopeful, like you said, but it's not like sunshine and rainbows. But yeah, I was like, when it's such a big like race thing or something like that, it's just like, how do you go back from this? Like, I know we had the big battle and all that, but like, how do you come from this and build a society and stuff? And like you said, in real life, we've done it, so it can be done. It's just like, damn.
Yeah, but that's what I kind of liked about the ending, because like I would have wanted more information about like the characters and the backgrounds and the story, blah blah, but not about what's gonna happen after. I feel like it's like the entire, I don't know how to explain that, but I loved it was kind of open, not happy ending, not too sad. It was just like, that's life. You don't always
Yeah.
get answers right away. You have to give it time, you have to work for it, and it's going to come eventually. And
Yeah,
I
there's
like
like
that.
there's just this,
actually.
like this tentative piece that's very fragile, but like is holding for the moment. And I
Yeah,
also like that in the end, like during the excavation of the cathedral, that well, I don't remember the guy's name, the Stelian guy.
Stallion. Yeah.
Well, I don't remember his name, but that dude. But also, like, some of the angels were just helping, and I think that it's like the first step to like creating something that's like a society that's words,
United.
that's united.
Yeah, to your comment, Sasha, as well, about having one more book, and I totally agree. It's like you could do so much with it. I feel.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm all for sending like a petition to Lainey for like, hey, how about you do this? Because I'm sure there's lots of people who would want that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that, like, the tensions of a post-war, like, so in the 90s we had a war in ex-Yugoslavia, where I'm from, and when it's over, you're still like, is it really over? Like, because you lived in a war for 5 years, like 4 years, depending on where you were in ex-Yugoslavia, and you're just like, what do I have to do now? How to get back to normal? It's not something, that's probably why I related, like, not I did not relate it to the end, but I was like, it speaks to me. It makes sense. But yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like if she made one more book, it'd be like very plotless but interesting. It'd be mostly just like about the rebuilding and all that, but it wouldn't probably be like high stakes, because then it kind of takes away from the discussion, probably.
But at the same time, it doesn't have to be plotless. I mean, if she could work the Cataclysm plot with the God Stars and everything into it, then you would have like a major plot, I think, for the book.
Yeah, true.
So, I mean, I'm no writer, obviously, but I can see it. I can see it.
Well, if anyone can do it, be Lainey. So I have all the faith.
All those in favor, raise your hands.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see more of her, like something new about that word, mixing up with Strange Dream or whatever in the future.
Yeah,
it could be very interesting.
Even in, I think it was Muse of Nightmares.
Yes, yeah.
It has like the end, or is it? And like,
no spoilers.
I think it's. I mean, yeah. Well, is it? Is it a spoiler? I mean, we don't know, but like, I think that generally, like, the story of Strange and Muse has come to an end, but the world that she's crafted has the potential for a lot more. Yeah. And also, like, kind of crossovers, if you want to call it that. I mean,
like the Grisha and Lee Bardugo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think just the concept of the multiple universes and the fact that you can like cut holes in them and travel, like, means pretty much any book she writes could be in the same multiverse or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, because it's like infinite. So
the Great All. It's called the Great All.
Yeah, actually. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, just what I was going to say.
Yeah, just for Hannah's comment. Yes, I love Susanna and Mick.
Yeah.
I love them so much. It was like the monsters and the beauty in your humanity mixing up with all the atrocity around it. I really love them.
Yeah, and at the same time, I just found it so heartbreaking that you could see like Susanna be kind of, well, I don't want to say like less, but she was kind of like getting more drawn back, I think. Like, I mean, she experienced brutalities of war, and it's like some instances with the chocolate, like I think it was the chocolate cake. She was like, it's fine, I'll just order something else, where like before she would have basically waged a war to get her chocolate cake.
I think that's maturity, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Like,
no, but I just found it kind of heartbreaking that she went from like innocent youth to that. I mean,
yeah, it's a bit sad, but I kind of liked it. I like that she got to mature and we got to see it, and like I feel like it would be disrespectful otherwise if they didn't change.
oh yeah,
You know,
no, I'm not saying I didn't like it, but I just found it
it
heartbreaking.
was like bad, yeah.
Like, heartbreaking in like a positive way. That sounds super mean, but
No, I get what you mean.
yeah.
As I said, Akiva and Karu in this book, I feel like there was so little of them, and it was good in a way. Like it was like just little tiny bits we got. It wasn't like, oh, now they're together all the time. I liked how it was done, but at the same time, I was like, oh, god damn it, I want some romance.
I was just like, they're so close, but yet so far.
I don't know. They made much more sense for me, like in the first book, than in this one.
Like their
don't know,
dynamic.
Yeah, I just didn't want them together. I don't know how I cannot remember the reason. It's just like the way I felt during this book, but for no particular reason. But yeah, I preferred like Liraz and Ziri.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I feel like Akiva and Karu, I have to love because like it's about them, but at the same time, I was like, oh, whatever. I just want to get like see the cute Ziri, right? Ziri and Liraz get together. Like, come on.
Yeah,
That's cute.
Yeah, I love how the first book starts out with like Karu and Akiva being the main romance, and then towards the books we kind of veer away from that, and other romances become the main or maybe not even the main romance, but like at this like there's multiple.
It wasn't really about the romance. I feel like anymore. Like like first one was like a romance, and then it was.
But also, it wasn't just about them anymore. Like in the first book, it really felt like about a Karu and Akiva. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, even though I knew he didn't die, the moment like the chapter where it's just like, and the knife entered his heart or something, I was like, no. I was still crying, even though I know that he doesn't die.
I love the scene where he got his like new body, and we like see him and stuff. I was like,
yeah,
that's really
I was just really random, and I was just wondering how that works, like with the resurrections and everything. Like, okay, they have the teeth and everything to build a new body, but what about the face? Like, do they get the same face, or is the face different every time? Or
no, I think the resurrectionist kind of builds the face. They never really explain how, but I guess just magic, right? I don't think it's the same face every time. You can make it the same, like you can make the body the same as well, but
yeah, there was like a really random thought that popped into my head, because they're like, oh, well, Ziri's body is basically the same as it was, but I'm like, but how do you build the same face?
Magic. Yeah, I still really explain it. It's just like
no.
Yeah, I don't know. And imagine if the resurrect doesn't know the face of that person who died. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but it only, I mean, this is basically only a question for like Chimera of high aspect. What are they called?
Yeah.
Those with like animal face. I mean, obviously, animal features are also different from, put two lions next to each other and they'll look different, obviously. But like, how does it work?
Yeah, I was actually thinking when I was reading, I was like, they really never kind of explain it. Like, they just make it like, oh, it's really hard and complicated and just going to leave it at that. And it's like, interesting choice.
Yeah, but like, I mean, they do get pretty detailed in like building the body. I mean, you add like diamond for strength and iron for size, and
yeah, but they never explain, okay, how does it become a body? You know what I mean? Like, it's teeth and diamonds. And they never say, like, how does it become a body? Yeah. Like, I assume magic, but it's just like, does it, like, sprout from it? I was, like, thinking about this when I was reading.
I basically just imagine, like, okay, well, like, pain and string of teeth, and then suddenly, like, plop, there's a body. I mean, I don't even know why, that's just how I imagine it. But I have no idea. I mean, you're right. It's not explained, but, like, I was like the building of it is, I mean, the bodies are I think it's quite detailed how it works, but then there's nothing about the face, and I'm like, but how does it work with the face?
Have no idea.
No, sorry, we're just drifting off. I was just wondering.
No, but that's interesting. Like it shows maybe we could have understood something different entirely because we are 4 different people and understanding things differently. Maybe we could have come up with a kind of acceptable answer, but honestly, I don't know. For me, it was like she's not giving us all the clues because even in the story, not everyone knows about it and not everyone knows how it's done. So I was like, yeah, I would have loved to know about it, like to know how it works, but at the same time, it's even in secret or not like common knowledge. So I was
Because
like
even in the second book, in the beginning, Karoo says something or thinks something like that the bodies are kind of trial and error. That she once made a body with like wings too small to carry it and everything. So like even Karoo doesn't know everything. But yeah, like with regard to like the resurrectionists, I think because Brimstone didn't want to burden anyone else with this task, I think that was it, because they only knew how to do the tithe, I think it's called, with pain. And I think it's because of that, but
yeah. I was also wondering, like, you know, Isa and like the others, they've been with Brimstone even longer than Karoo. Could she not become a resurrectionist? I think the only thing is, like, they said that it's a big, like, talent is a big part of it. Like, Karoo was, like, really had very good instinct about it as well. So I don't think anyone could become one if they just, like, fancied it. You have to have some kind of, like, talent and stuff for it.
Yeah,
like, so many years.
I mean, Akiva has a lot of magic, but he's basically the only one. Like, not everyone has magic. So, I mean, now that you say that, I'm thinking of this. So, not everyone has magic, I think. So, I mean, if you don't have magic, you won't be able to do it.
Is it not everyone has magic, or not everyone knows you need pain to have magic? Like, could anyone have magic if they paid the tithe? I don't actually know. I'm
not sure, actually, because I mean, Akiva has more magic than most, so that means I would assume that there will also be people who don't have magic at all. Just working with that logic, that if someone can have more than someone else, then someone can also have less than someone else, and someone can also have nothing. But this is just...
I mean, if it was simple, Tiago would definitely use magic because he's perverted things, so I guess maybe not everyone can do it.
And I mean, maybe everyone can do it, but it was also what they said, like what are they called? The Magi or something, or the mages or whatever, like they were killed and then all knowledge of magic was lost. Except for what the Stallions know. So yeah. But I think this is just, I mean, we can discuss endlessly on this, but we won't know because it's just not in the book. I think.
Didn't read about it if it was in one of the 3 books.
Yeah.
No.
I always kind of like wondered if it was maybe a power play because Brimstone knew. It always just kind of felt like a power that he didn't want anybody else to deal with it. But the other part was that he didn't want the wolf to have more power because if more people knew how to do it, then he would be able to, figure out how to do it himself. And then he wouldn't need the resurrectionist and he would have unlimited power. I feel like Brimstone really balanced out the power dynamic.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Yeah, you don't want the bad guys to have no knowledge. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it was a thing that he didn't because he said you have to tie for it. And normally he does with being invisible, whatever. He uses his arm. But those couple moments when he was in that special state, he wasn't at all. He just took the magic from the thingy. So I think that's why he was so powerful.
Yeah, definitely.
like super crazy.
I mean, there needs to be kind of like an affinity or a special talent to be able to do this. That's kind of what I meant. But again, it's not really told. We're just told that he can do this and not why. So at least I don't know. I was going to say we don't know, but I don't know.
That's another thing. I feel like making him like super powerful, whatever, and then not paying it off at all is a bit like, why make him powerful then? Like, just make him normal. Then why does he have to be special powerful? And if you're not going to do anything about it, because I don't know. Maybe I don't think they said that if he wasn't so powerful, he couldn't connect to this thing, but I'm not sure. Oh. Huh?
Oh.
I mean, his mother knew, I think that he would be powerful. Yeah, it's quite interesting with the mother.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, the stallions know their broad destinies and everything, right? They get like this vision of what they're supposed to do. I think it's something like that, or where they're supposed to be, or something like that. And I think it's explained in a sense at festival. So his mother knew that she needed to go to Joram and have Akiva probably because he was going to be a god star and save the world. Something like that.
Yeah. That's actually another thing. I'm so confused about this god stars thing. I have more questions than anything. It's just like, you know how there's like the god stars and they had this vision, but everyone saw themselves in the vision. So I'm like, so is there like 6 or whatever god stars, or is everyone a god star? I am like, and then if everyone's a god star, why is it important that Kiva's a god star? It's just, for me, it's like, I have questions. Like,
yeah, I'm not sure. I'll be the first one. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think they mentioned somewhere that it was 100 god stars, but I could be making that up because I have no clue which book that was in, but I think I remember that.
Me too. I thought there were more.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm not sure.
I cannot remember that.
But just for me personally, I find all that stuff with like basically their entire religion is based on something that hasn't happened yet. Like, I find that very confusing because to me, time is linear and the past is the past and the present is the present and the future is the future. And my brain can't handle that. I'm sorry.
I thought that it was, the explanation there was that time's not linear, because when he's in that special state, he understands that time's not linear. And like, that's kind of the perception, our perception of time is linear, but that's because we're like limited in our understanding, kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
So I thought, if time's not linear, the god stars didn't yet happen technically, but because they'll happen in the future, they kind of were known in the past, because the time is just like not a continuum, it's just there. But that's not really how they explain it, so I might be wrong.
They explained it as time being an ocean, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I don't deal with this stuff well. I don't deal with weird timelines. So, yeah. And Hannon says in the comments, like, I thought there were only 2 gods. I think that she means like the moons, Nitid and what's the other one called? Si? No, not Si. I'm not sure.
So many names in that book. I cannot
remember.
I was sort of in the right direction, just at the wrong consonant.
I just happened to have the thing open at that page, but I don't remember it there.
I think that might be it, but as for like the answer about the number of god stars, I really have no clue. Yeah, I'm not sure about the 100. I could be making that up because I really don't know. Because I think I remember that it was 100. But
I'm trying to find it on the internet, but I cannot find it because it bothers me now. I want to know.
I'm trying to find it in the book because I remember them saying in that vision, I think it said how many there were, but then everyone saw themselves, so I was like, what does that even mean then?
Yeah, I don't know. I cannot find it.
Oh, it just said and many, so it doesn't say how many. It says there are many in the vision.
No, right. I was right,
Ooh.
actually. Wikipedia says the Seraphim, it's actually on Wikipedia. The Seraphim believed that there were once a race of bright warriors who traveled from their faraway world to engage in a long war with Gibborim. I think that's basically those beasts on the other side of the sky. All but 100 of them died, but in the end, they vanquished the Gibborim. These 100 were called the God Stars, who were believed to bring light to the universe. So they are 100, but it's 100 that survive. So there were more God Stars. So basically, everyone that goes into the war are God Stars, but only 100 survive. So I was kind of right.
Alright, so I guess that's why everyone sees themselves, because there's so many. For some reason, I thought there was like 6 or something. I was like, well, how can everyone see themselves?
Yeah.
But that makes sense. Okay.
Also, I would read this.
This is interesting. See, this maybe that's how we take it together. You know, all the books she ever writes, the last book she'll ever write will be this massive battle.
Imagine that.
That'd be
That's
so
super
cool.
smart. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. But that would mean that she knew from the very beginning.
I don't
No?
think she did. So yeah.
No.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
but I think in the afterwards she writes like she's not the kind to like plan it. She just kind of writes it and discovers as it goes. So probably didn't, because even in the first book, in the afterward, or maybe second book, it was like something like, "Oh, I thought I'd write a nice happy book, but that's not happened in the end." And I was like, "Yeah, no shit."
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's also why Strange the Dreamer took so long to actually be published, because at first she thought that was going to be Sarai's book, and then it turned out to be like Laszlo's book, but it took her a really long time to figure that out. So
Yeah, she had to split the book because it was way too long, right? Like the first.
yeah, I think at first she didn't even have Laszlo in there as like an important character.
Yeah.
I think something like that. But honestly, I'm just looking forward to her next book because it's going to be adult, and I have high hopes for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's like all we know. It's going to be adult and it's going to be steamy.
Fantasy as well?
Probably. I mean, everything I have from her is fancy. I'm not sure she's written anything. Well, like there's this what's called graphic novel, that's horror. But I think it's also fancy because it's not our world as far as I'm aware. But yeah, I think it's going to be fancy. But we really don't know a lot about it.
Maybe she doesn't know either.
Oh, she's writing it. I mean, she's shared like snippets, also chapter titles and everything.
Oh.
I love her chapter titles, by the way.
Does she have any kind of like approximate release date for it?
I don't think so. Sadly.
Just tell me the year, you know. Like
Let's just put it like last year. I put it on my most anticipated TBR list. Like basically, like, well, I hope it's going to be published this year, and that was 2020, and it wasn't, obviously. And I'm really not sure if it's going to be published this year. Like, if it's going to be published, it's probably going to be like November or December.
I doubt it, because not knowing even the genre yet, it's like feels really abrupt if she was like, "Oh yeah, in a month it's coming out." Because you need that. Like, she's such a big author, they probably do quite a lot of marketing for her as well.
I'd expect March next year at the soonest, and I think because her books tend to come out in March or October. I'm not sure why I know this, but I do know this.
Maybe March 2022, something like that.
Yeah. I hope so, at least.
Yeah. I don't know.
Can't wait.
Not sure.
Because awesome.
Does it say anything?
It's the worst when like your favorite authors are slow writers. It's like,
yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, at least you like anticipating that book, like you really want to read it.
It's true.
So
like I'm gonna drop everything and just read it when it comes out. I don't care what I'm doing.
Yeah. Oh, there is a question. Did you guys have a fav scene in this book? Huh. I don't know.
I really like the moment where Susanna and Mick come back on that sky bison. I imagine it to be a sky bison. I don't remember the name, but like massive beasts, whatever, that are untamable. And there's Susanna and Mick just like, ha ha ha, we did it. And I love how Susanna was like, we need an audience, bring everyone, we need them to see it. And it was so Susanna loved it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of them. Yeah.
Oh, I was meant to ask you, Femke, did we end up being in Brussels? Did I just completely like ignore?
No. Yeah.
Antwerp, no?
Was it Antwerp? I'm not sure. Like
yeah,
in the
I think
very
the woman
beginning.
with the two dogs, right?
Yeah, it was
Antwerp.
Esther. Like in the very beginning, there's one scene, but I thought it was more, but that was actually in Rome. But I thought that was in Belgium.
Okay.
So that was a mistake. And I apologize.
I was like, did I miss something?
No. It's just one tiny scene, like in the very beginning, basically. Oh, we lost Kira again.
Oh yeah, she's there. You go.
It's just one scene, like right when the angels arrive, and you get some scenes from different perspectives around the world. I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's when. I'm not sure whether it's not Brussels or Antwerp now, but when that's mentioned. But the rest is in Rome. But I was convinced it was Brussels, and I don't know why.
I mean, it's Esther van de Vloed. This where was it? I thought it was like Antwerp.
Oh, it's possible. I just.
How can I find that? Was it Antwerp? Yeah, Antwerp. She had like 2 huge mastiffs, and it was in Antwerp. Yeah.
Okay, well, my mistake. I thought it was Brussels, but
I mean, it's 20 minutes from Brussels, so
I was just about to say, like it's very close. So
it's a tiny country, so yeah, everything is close.
Yeah, I mean, same. Netherlands a little bit bigger, but not that much. But it's like 20 minutes without traffic jams.
Yeah.
I've never been to Antwerp when there wasn't a traffic jam.
Maybe at 2 a.m.
Yeah, no, we tend to just be there around basically 4 p.m.-ish, which is the worst time to be there, but
yeah.
I mean, we just have to pass by it. So
I don't think I have like a favorite scene, but I loved how like everything was about hope in this series, but especially I feel like in this one, because Lainey killed some of the characters, and here she killed them and they came back, and it was like just a way of saying, yeah, you can hope, but sometimes it's not going to happen, but sometimes it's going to happen. So it's like not losing hope, and I kind of liked that feeling while reading the book. So it's not like a favorite scene, but like I love that.
I think for me,
Sorry. Now that you said that scene where Lyris comes to Carew and she's like, I've got him in my canteen, and they're like that anticipation of Ziri, whether he survived or not. And I love how Lyris was like, oh, do you think I don't learn from my mistakes? And I was like, oh my god. And then when they realized that Ziri was there, and they started like laughing and crying and hugging, and like the two of them aren't even close or anything. It's just like, that killed me. I love that. That.
I was just about to say, like, I think I have like 2 favorite scenes. Like that was one of them. And also that Lyra sang to, try to lure his soul, basically. And Carew was like, well, it doesn't really help, but if it worked, I'm not telling her that, and I'll gladly sing for like the rest of eternity. And my other favorite scene is probably the moment that Mick stole Esther's wishes. and I can just see him walking with like his violin case, like la di da di da. You're out
So
of wishes.
proud of herself.
Yeah.
What about you, Kira? I think we lost her again.
Yeah,
connection not-
Remix steals the violin case because I
Sorry, I
hear
couldn't
you
hear the.
guys.
I heard that.
You guys hear me?
We hear you sporadically.
Oh yeah.
We hear you now, but
Okay. So I really like the scene like where Mick steals the violin case full of all the wishes.
Yeah.
I really love that scene.
That was such a boss moment when he was like so happy leaving the place.
Yeah. And I loved it like when the grandmother realized, or the fake grandmother like realized like that she didn't have any more wishes left. That was awesome.
Yeah. I also
because I did not like her.
No,
I
she's
was so betrayed. I don't know why I had all this faith in her, and it was so unfounded because we told time and time again that she's not like a grandmother. She's like not been there for Karoo. But I still felt so betrayed. I was like, come on, lady, you're already rich. What do you need this for? You know, it's like when you're so greedy. It's just like
yeah. And I also liked the surprise that at least for me it was a surprise, like not this time because I already knew it, but with like Jal, when like his offers for weapons and ammunition come in, like the way it's written, it makes you think that it's basically Eliza's family, I suppose, like the cult that's contacting him, but in the end it actually turns out to be Esther.
But was it though? Because she only contacted him later. So I thought it was like, oh, she stopped all the bribes, but one of them got through, and that's why they only got that one. Because it said it was a religious group and stuff. Because Esther said, oh, I didn't want to do this, which is call the angels and give them the thing. But she only does that once Karoo tells her that Brimstone's dead, which is later in the book, I think.
What the hell?
Or am I wrong? I'm not actually sure.
I thought it was her all along, but now you're saying it could have been a religious group, but I'm not sure now.
At least that's how I understood it. Well.
But she's greedy. I mean, she just basically gave up weapons so she could have mining rights to an entire world. Like, woman.
I know. It's like you're already rich. You're already almost not immortal, but you have a long life. What else do you want?
Isn't that the problem with the rich, though? Like, it's never enough. They always want more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was having like a fishy vibe. I was like, "Oh, don't tell her about Brimstone. Don't tell her about Brimstone." Yeah. That's when she like decided, because she thought, "Oh, I have an easy way out if Brimstone's there." Yeah, I felt betrayed.
Yeah, I get that. I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit like what's happening what.
It was so satisfying to me that Rosgood basically latched onto Esther. Such a satisfying moment.
I was like, karma.
Yeah.
Get what we deserve.
I love learning more about him, like in this book.
Yeah.
I really love that. And the other thing that I loved is I always mix Liraz, right? It's Liraz. How different she was from the first book. I really enjoyed like the two development, let's say.
I liked how she would be thinking to herself, what would Hazel do, kind of thing, like, and chose the kind option because that's what I loved how they didn't just forget him, they kept mentioning him all the time, and you really felt like how they miss him so much.
I'm still bitter he died.
Yeah, but you need sometimes good people to die because that's what life is about. Like I get it. But, yeah. No, I get it. But at the same time, I'm happy that some authors have the strength to actually do it and to break your heart. Like,
oh, definitely.
I
I mean,
love that.
it makes the book better, but I'm still sad that it had to be Hazael. Like, not my
Yeah.
baby.
But
Yeah.
who you wanted it to be?
Anyone? Honestly?
Anyone?
But then
So,
you don't care as
Akiva-
much.
Sorry?
Yeah.
If you don't care as much, if it was some like nobody, you'd be like, whatever.
What's about Ziri? Like, I'm so sorry for you guys, but I just cared more about Hazael, to be honest.
It's fair. But I think that's why it was so impactful as well, because it was like changed lyrics and stuff.
Yeah. No, I know why it was done, and I
Yeah.
do appreciate it, but I'm still sad. Like, you can be happy and sad at the same time, and I'm kind of both.
I think that was the point.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, Helen also said, this was so true. I kept like not remembering the plan, and they wouldn't tell us, and I was like, and then when Karoo, I was like, yeah, Esther was a bit fishy. That's why I did all this like secondary plan. I was like, that's smart. I was like, I thought they would not have suspected her.
Yeah. And I also really was really surprised that they brought what's she called? Haxaya?
Yeah, Haxaya.
Haxaya. That's
I have no
why I
idea
said
where
it.
to put the emphasis, but something along those lines. Like that she was just suddenly like, ta-da! I'm back, bitches.
I was like I was very betrayed by her as well. I was like, you should know better, but I understand what the motivations are and stuff. But yeah, when they brought her back and she kind of redeemed herself, I was like, good.
Yeah.
I don't remember her at all from the first book. Have we heard about her in the first book?
She was the soul that was put into Ten's body, like when Thiago.
Yeah, I know that, but in the first book,
No,
because
she wasn't in the
she
first
was
book.
her friend. She wasn't in the book though, was she?
No, I'm pretty sure she wasn't.
Okay. I was like, I don't remember this.
No, I'm not sure. Was she like really a friend or more like, like an acquaintance? Like, but the kind of acquaintance you just always say hi to. You know that kind. Like
it's like a coworker, but your works war because they fought. Like, so
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's just like Karoo acted like she was a friend, and she said she's a friend, but I was like, I've never heard about this person ever before.
No, true.
So I thought I forgot her or something because I'm not great memory.
No, pretty sure she wasn't in there because like during the Madrigal flashbacks, there was only like Madrigal's sister, but I don't remember her name, but it wasn't Haxaya. But I think that one was like wolf aspect, and then Haxaya was fox aspect, so I'm pretty sure they weren't the same.
No, they're not the same, not the sister and the...
So...
But yeah.
I'm losing the light.
Well,
lots of fun, lots of sun, and now nothing.
Yeah, I actually have like the sunscreen down, and I have my curtain halfway closed, and now the sun's basically behind the trees, so there's no more light. But oh well. Do we have anything left to talk about?
I don't know if there is any other topic.
Characters, writing, plot, atmosphere.
Like the reason why I personally did not enjoy the book is because like I loved her writing style, like I really do, but I feel like it was better for Stranger Dreamer than this one. Like it was more not appropriate, but it fit better Stranger Dreamer than this one. And the other thing that's maybe like minor or whatever, but I love titles for each chapter, but I need to know who is talking or whose point of view it is. Like it confuses me sometimes when I have to read a few lines to understand who I'm reading about. You know what I mean? So I think that's what did not work for me this time in this book.
Yeah, for me personally, I knew pretty well how to differentiate between the voices, but I can definitely, I really understand your issue because I've definitely read books where it took me like 1.5 pages to figure out like whose perspective is this, and then like the voices just sound exactly the same. And I personally think that that's not the case here, but I do understand your confusion, and I always prefer to know who's talking. Like if it just says like, I don't know, Karu or Akiva or Eliza or whatever. But yeah. But I also think that her writing actually got a lot better between these books and Strange the Dreamer. Because like her writing style is flowery and it's always been that way, but I just think it's so much better in Strange the Dreamer.
Mm.
And I'm not sure why. I can't tell you exactly why, but it just feels that way to me.
I definitely understand what you said, Sasha, because I think in Strange the Dreamer, her writing's more purple, and the whole world is like dreams and nightmares, and it's like very, very like intangible kind of. So it feels appropriate that the writing's so purple. But this is more of a like a portal fantasy, like normal, not so whimsical, I guess. So it just feels a bit, maybe sometimes like overdoing it a little bit when it's such a simple setting. But I don't know, I do prefer Strange the Dreamer in the writing as well, but I just love those whimsical books that have like purple writing stuff. So maybe that's just like, that's why I like it. Yeah. I think this is a good point.
Yeah.
That the subject matter is so serious and stuff, but then it's a bit purple as well. So
Yeah, because here it was like, as you said, a portal fantasy, like urban fantasy, and Strange the Dreamer is like a pure fantasy. And I felt like that's what like I was battling with it all the time. Like I love the writing style, but I felt like that chapter wasn't that whimsical or magical or whatever. So I was like confused. But that's a me problem. That's not like the author's problem, whatever. It's still amazingly done. But it was like a Sasha problem.
No, yes, I understand what you're saying, because like this definitely, I mean, to a certain extent, it's kind of high fantasy, but at the same time, it's also portal fantasy, and that's why at the same time it's also urban fantasy. So it's kind of a little bit of everything. And exactly what Hannon said, like the writing is so much more whimsical, and Strange the Dreamer's story is so much more whimsical. So it's just a better match, I think. So yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah, especially because in Strange the Dreamer, as we said, like it's whimsical, it's like fantasy, whatever, but a lot is happening in dreams.
Yeah.
So without spoilers, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the book's called Strange the Dreamer, so it's not really a spoiler, I think. So
yeah, I agree. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Have you read Strange the Dreamer, Kira?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
To me, like,
I thought someone didn't read it.
Yeah. To me, it was like one of those books, like, I love it. I love it so much. I think about it all the time. But the pacing made it not a 5-star for me. Because, like, it was so slow, like, in everything. Like, it took us, like, almost, like, what was it, close to 500 pages to describe, like, a few days. And I felt like, especially, like, with Muse of Nightmares. But I love it. I think it's a wonderful book.
Yeah.
I love the writing. I like, and I think about it, like I said, all the time. But to me, like, I couldn't give it a 5-star because of how I felt about the pacing.
Like, I remember when it came out, like, I was so excited, and then I proceeded not to read it for like 2 months, and Esme actually read it before me. And at one point, she just sent me a text like, "This is so slow," and I was like, I hadn't even read it, but I was just, keep going. It's going to get better. Like, I promise you. And I hadn't even read it. And I mean, it did get better. And just, I mean, I don't mind slow pacing, I find. It just, even though the pace is slow, like, it needs to interest me. Like, whatever is happening, it needs to interest me. And then I find that I won't care. Like, if 500 pages describe an hour or a year, like, I honestly, I won't care as long as it, it grips me.
Yeah, it's all about the writing style and the tone, because you could tell me about your day, how you clean your house, but the way you're going to tell it, I will be like so mesmerized by what you're
Yeah.
saying. You know what I mean? Like it really depends on how you give the reader the information.
Exactly. Yeah, like I said, I won't care if it's an hour or a year or whatever, as long as, you know, as long as it interests me, whatever is happening.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think that's why it didn't bother me in Strange the Dreamer, because I love the writing and I love just like hanging out with Laszlo. I really liked him, so it's like I don't mind. But I definitely know it's all about your expectations as well. If you go into a book and you want an adventure and then it's like slow as hell, you're gonna be annoyed. But if you come into it being like, okay, this is gonna be slow, but I can do it, then it's like different. And I kind of expected it to be slow because I thought it was quite whimsical, and I feel like whimsical books tend to be a bit slower. It's my experience.
For me, like I'd already read Daughter of Smoke and Bone, the entire trilogy, and I feel like the second and third book, but also the first book, to be honest, they're kind of the same way. Like it takes at least 3/4 of the book to get to the point, basically. So I already knew what to expect with regards to like pacing and plot structure, especially. So I really wasn't as bothered by it. But at the same time, I mean, I do understand that people are bothered by it because it's really not for everyone.
Yeah, but see, you're saying that it takes like, let's say, 300 pages, 400 pages to get to the point. But at the same time, we have so many questions left. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, Strange just intrigued me from the get-go. Like in his library with the books about the language and you know about Weep, what had happened to Weep and everything. I was just immediately intrigued. So for me, if I'm intrigued, I don't care about the rest.
Yeah, true. At the same time, I would be curious to see how I feel about rereading that book because I read it when no one was talking about it. So I was not expecting anything from it. But now I would be curious. So I was like pleasantly surprised. Like I loved it. But I would be curious to see now rereading it. Have you reread it? Any of you?
No.
I really read it maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago, for the first time.
Okay.
No, I got it in the Fairy Loot box it was in. That was like March 2017. And at that point, I'd already been like highly anticipating the book ever since you know, Dreams of Gods and Monsters came out, and since I read that, which is to say nearly 3 years. So I was hyped. Like and then it was supposed to come out sooner, and then it was pushed back, and I was sad again, and then all that. So I was like, even though no one was talking about it, I just hyped it up for myself so much, and I had such high expectations. But yeah, I'm actually really excited to reread it now. I haven't yet, but I mean, if I hate it, it's going to be a problem because I have a tattoo of the cover on my back, basically. So it's going to be an issue, but I don't think I will. Let's be honest.
And even if you do, it means that the first time you read it, it was at the right time, you know, and
Definitely.
you just enjoyed that book at that time. And even if 10 years later you hate it, that's fine. Like,
I mean, I still love the cover, so even if I'll hate the book, it'll be a pretty image.
Yeah, true. The covers are gorgeous. Like, I got the Illumicrate editions with the like glittery silver squared edges, and the other one gold.
Yeah, they're like right there.
I really want to buy the hardcovers, but it's really hard. Like Amazon doesn't even have them. I think Waterstones has them for 16 quid each. It's like, gee, I know
these ones because the UK hardcovers are out of print. So it's like 16, so 16 or 60.
No, 16, but on Waterstones, so it's like official buying source. But it's still expensive for a hardback. Like normally they're like 11 quid. Especially because it's not
that's expensive, but
and that's why I don't understand. It's such a popular book and it's not new. Why is it out of print? You know, just like print it again. because the paperback's not it. Like
no. UK
the English
hardback,
one. I don't know the American one, but
UK hardbacks go out of print as soon as the UK paperbacks are published. That's like for everything. It's the same for the David trilogy. Yeah. If you start looking for like the City of Brass in the original UK hardcover, you're looking at spending like right now about 200-ish euros.
Is that why everyone went so crazy when they came out and bought all of the hardcovers and stuff?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. That's weird because I always go for paperback if there is a paperback anyway, so I guess I just didn't notice. But this one, usually, I love the book and I want a pretty one.
Yeah, but usually the paperbacks, they come after, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, it depends on the book. Sometimes it's like paperback and it stays paperback, never a hardcover, whatever.
Yeah, it depends on the size, honestly. Because at the same time, UK hardcovers, because I have them right here. I have this huge ass paperback. This is a trade paperback. This comes out at the same time as the hardback, and this was actually more expensive than the hardback. Like, what? And it's like, it's not floppy at all. Like, look at this. It's not floppy. And then UK hardbacks were actually less expensive. And then about a year after, it depends. Sometimes it's 9 months. Sometimes it's like 15 months. There's not really a hard set like time limit. But then the like regular paperbacks will come out. And those are the ones that are, like, do I have one here? That are like this size. They're like the smaller ones.
Yeah.
They're not the mass market. The mass markets are even smaller than these. But yeah, I mean, especially for UK hardbacks, there's a number of really popular editions. I think it's the same for The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden.
Yeah.
UK hardbacks are impossible to get a decent price.
I never got them. Like, I ended up buying the paperbacks, but like they're so floppy. I'm like, I love it.
Yeah, I have a paperback. My paperbacks are not fluffy. They're so rigid. I don't know if it's a UK one or what. US
paperbacks tend to be floppier than UK ones. I'm not sure why. I mean, it's the same for hardbacks, though.
I mean, I just don't understand. So many different covers, so many different editions, so many different sizes, so many different things.
Yeah.
I don't get why they don't decide. Like, sometimes you have all the same height and then one smaller, but just a tiny bit. Then the other one is like more. I don't get that.
Yeah, why would you do that? That for me is like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Case in point.
Yeah. That's so annoying.
I have them at the same height at the bottom here. Wait, I have to go that way. Like, look, I have them exactly the same height, and these are not the same height.
I just don't get it. Like,
it bothers me. I hate this so much. But I have the same with I mean, it's a pretty old series, Fallen by Lauren Kate. Not sure if you know it. It was like a hype back when Twilight was a hype. There were like 6 books that I had. It was like the original 4 and then a collection of short stories and then the 6th one that kind of came after. I had them in 5 different editions. 5. And I was so mad. I just sold them because I just couldn't handle it. Because I don't do that. I need my books to be the same height because it will, I don't want to say make me panic, but I will definitely like have anxiety over it and I hate it, but I can't help it.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, it's a big pet peeve.
But yeah, I mean, if the UK hardbacks are on Waterstones for 16 quid and you want them, I would definitely say go for it because that's not expensive.
Yeah, I guess. I was gonna get them. I was just like, why being like this? But it's my birthday, so I should treat myself. Well, not right now. This month is my birthday, so I was like, I should treat myself to some change the treatment.
Yeah, because when I think about it, it's not that expensive. Like in French, we don't have hard covers, like hardbacks. Doesn't exist. And just a regular book, like 300 pages, whatever, like the tall one, I don't know which one I bought for my mom, whatever. It's like 25, 27 euros. That's the normal price for like the tall paperbacks.
So
I'm like...
in the UK, like paperbacks like 7 quid. Or 8, which I would say is like normal price, and then hardbacks are between 11 and 15. So yeah, 16 is not expensive. It's just like I don't like buying hardbacks, so I'm always like, this could be half the price, and I prefer to read paperbacks.
I mean, my perception of book prices is definitely skewed. I mean, I bought the LitJoy Strange the Dreamer set, which with shipping came to about $110 for 2 books. I'm insane, and I know that, but I wanted them, so I got them.
I was gonna get those, and I found out the price. I was like, no.
I mean,
'Cause I
also,
prefer than the other ones.
the price for the books didn't even bother me so much. It was $50 for 2, so that's like $25, and for like each $25 each. So for fully customized books with annotations, signed, illustrations, and everything, I mean, that's fine. But shipping was like £63. And
Insane.
the fun part is I'm probably going to get customs fees as well.
Mm.
I'm
Yeah, I
not
feel like
thinking
I would have
about it,
maybe gotten it without the shipping cost, but the shipping cost was insane.
Yeah, it was insane, but
I agree with it.
find
This
it
is me.
easier to read a hardback.
I don't know. Depends how floppy the paperback is.
I guess.
And this
Would
is
it-
me with Poppy War. I'm waiting for the last paperback to come out so I can get it and read the whole series. Because I only read the first book. Because I didn't realize that some books, because if a book is really popular, usually the paperback comes out at the same. Well, sometimes the paperback comes out at the same time. So I thought that was true for all the books, but no. Most of them, it's like a year, like you said. So it's like.
Yeah, because for the 3rd book in the Daevabad trilogy, like the Empire of Gold came out, what was it, June last year, May last year, and then the paperback for the 3rd book literally just came out just this week, last week, not this week, last week, on Monday, even though it feels like a Thursday for me, but.
Yeah, but it's not fair. Let's say you discover a series after, like, let's say you go to the shop, there is a book that came out like 1 year ago, whatever, you buy it as a paperback, and then you liked it so much, you want to read the sequel, then the sequel is coming on, and it's a hardcover. And just
That's literally me in Poppy War, because I bought it in paperback because it came out. I only bought it a year after it came out. I was like, oh, well, I'll just buy the paperback when it comes out. And then I realized I have to wait. Now I'm in agony.
Honestly, it's probably a money thing, because I don't think the cost of production differs so much between a hardback and a paperback, honestly, depending on how many a print run is, obviously. But, I mean, they can sell a hardcover for like nearly double the cost of a paperback, and I'm pretty sure the production cost won't be double the cost of a paperback. So they'll make more money of a hardback than they will of a paperback. So obviously they will try to sell more of those. I mean, I get it, but it sucks.
Yeah, but why doing a paperback after? If you're getting more money from the hardcovers, why don't you keep printing just hardbacks? I mean,
I think it's because like first the book comes out, people are very excited they're gonna buy as soon as it comes out, so they can get more money. But later, if you're not like that hot on it, it's basically half price to buy a paperback. So you're probably more likely to buy a paperback if you're not weren't that crazy about it. They needed to get it right away, kind of thing. But that's conjecture.
Yeah.
Don't get it.
And I mean, I also think it sucks for like people who, like you said, they only discovered the series later, and then they want a matching hardcover set, and then they're just not going to be able to get that unless they spend however much the books are going for at that particular moment in time.
Yeah. Or maybe that's like the bookish community, because people, like when I talk about covers and matching covers, matching sizes, whatever, to people who are not part of the community, who are still readers, they don't really care about it, like surprisingly.
Nope, I know. No, but like, especially in the bookish community, I mean, but yeah, I mean, my sister's the same. And my sister's the type who just breaks like the book and just folds the front cover, and I'm just sitting there like, oh no. Because honestly, that's why I have hardcovers, and I'll just hold them in one hand and then flip pages with the other one, because they just don't damage as easily. And I'm very, very particular with my books. So very particular.
I mean, they're for you. You love them, so that's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, other people will probably think like, well, you could be a bit more relaxed, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting in front of my tuition fees worth of books, probably. So, no, assuming a book's about 15 euros, and that's cheap for most of them, honestly. I just once calculated that I probably have my tuition fees worth of books sitting on my shelves.
Yeah, but you can apply that to everything, like the coffee
Yeah.
you got at Starbucks, or like the candies, or the ice cream, or the shoes you didn't need, you buy and kept
True.
buying it.
But like,
You know.
for like food, like and coffee and ice cream, like that's not something tangible, like that's sitting in your room because you will eat it.
Yeah.
No, but no, you're right. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else we wanted to talk about?
I don't know if anyone has, like, if Hanan has another question for us, but I don't think, like, we covered a lot. I feel like many characters, many plot twists.
Yeah, it was good. Good chat.
Yeah.
Just one thing, I did find it just a tad cliche that, you know, after they closed the portals, then obviously Eliza knew another portal. I just found that just a tad cliche. I mean, I was happy that, you know, Mick and Susanna weren't cut off from Karoo and everything, but I was just like, it's a tad convenient.
That's why I wanted her earlier
Yeah.
in the series.
Yeah.
Like, it does make sense, because I was thinking this, if she has memories of the foremother or whatever, she must know where it is, because it's like she was thrown from it. So it makes sense, but like, I agree that it was a bit convenient that she shows up and then she meets, like in this the Kabash or whatever however you say it, just meets them by coincidence, and they're like abducted her by coincidence. And it's like the wish is just the right thing as well. It's just like,
yeah. But I did love what. Sorry, I just had another train of thought. What Lainey basically did, like with Eliza's ancestors, who just went insane because their brain couldn't handle the magic that had been imposed. Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, I didn't want Karoo separated from Mick and Susanna forever. Obviously not, but it's just a tad convenient. But obviously, again, that's another pet peeve of mine in lots of YA, that lots of things are just a tad convenient.
Well, you found convenient that Karoo found her way back to them? That's what you meant?
No, I mean, I think Akiva or someone closed the portal over, what was it, Uzbekistan? And above the Atlas Mountains and everything. So they were separated, but then Mick and Susanna just wished for Eliza to be her best self and everything. And then Eliza knew of another portal.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, it was like...
I mean, I'm nitpicking. I do know that. But...
I mean, it's good. You're rereading it, so it makes sense that you see things differently. So...
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to make me, you know, drop a star or anything, but it's just...
No book is perfect.
Nope.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I just wanted to say thank you guys for joining me for the read along. It's been very fun. I really enjoyed like discussing with you and rereading the series and all that. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for making me read that series. Finally.
Yes.
I'm really glad you enjoyed the last one. After the rocky middle, it turned out okay.
I mean, talking about me?
Yeah.
I mean, like, as I said, like, I just didn't care, but I still see everything that was powerful in that book. And that's why I'm not gonna rate it, because I don't know how to rate that. But I still like, I didn't trash it or anything, and that's what I loved about that book, is that I don't know, it has everything to be a good book, but just not for me. But still, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, we all got ones like that. It's like technically everything's fine with it. It's just not for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay.
Do we want to wrap it up? Oh, that's so lovely.
I'd say so.
Thank you for coming, Helen. You're the
Yeah.
best.
I hope your exams went well.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope it went well. All right, thank you so much for joining. Maybe one day we'll have another read along. I don't know of what, but you know, you never
What is
know.
a series you would like a read along for?
City of Brass.
I'm not sure my heart
And
will
yeah,
handle
two
reading those again.
Here's what I found.
Oh, gee. It was really good though. It's a really good book. But
Yeah.
if you go with slow books, the second book, nothing happens in it. I was like, why are we here for 600 pages or whatever? We're still here.
In City of Brass?
Yeah. The first book was good and fast, but the second was really slow. At least for me, like so
Yeah.
slow.
What about the
I mean,
third book? Was that good?
I haven't read it yet. So
I'm biased, but I love the entire series.
but it's one of those, you know, like it was so slow and then the ending was so good. I need to read the last one. It's like
Yeah.
for me, Brandon Sanderson's like that. The whole book will be so slow and boring, and then the last bit is just so good. I have to read the next one. So it's like addicting.
Do I have
I
any
need to
series
read.
that I want to read?
I don't know. I need to read The Final Empire, Name of the Wind. So many books, actually.
Final Empire is on my TBR for June.
Nice.
Oh,
So
nice.
Good. Very good.
yeah.
I just finished the first trilogy, and I want to start Way of Kings, but it's 45-hour audiobook. Jesus Christ.
How many
I'll be
pages is
reading
that?
that whole month.
How many pages is that? Like
I
800,
think around
900?
1,000, but I don't know
Oh.
exactly. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot.
Yeah, but I feel like I keep hearing the same about The Final Empire. The books are huge, but apparently you read them so fast.
They are huge, but they're still like almost half way short. Like Way of Kings, I think, is almost double. At least
Yeah.
like I think the last book was only like 500 or something, and they're good. Last book, actually, I thought all of it was engaging, good. First book, all of it was good, and then the second book, I would say the first 70% was so slow, like nothing happened. Depends. If you like political intrigue, then something happened. So probably you enjoy it, but like nothing action-wise. But then the ending of the book was so good. I was like, oh my god.
So this version of the Final Empire is basically 650 pages. So, and the letters aren't, I'm not sure if you can see it, but they're not too small. It's decent.
All of them, so.
I tried reading War and Peace once, and letters were like literally like size 5 or something. Because I was like, oh, this isn't too big. And then I opened it and I was like, nope. Like, I need a magnifying glass to read this, so I'm not doing that.
Oh, Hannah said it's 1,100 for Way of Kings.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Funky. That's why I want to listen to it. I feel like then I can dedicate my walks to Way of Kings.
Yeah. And also, I just find it so strange because I'll have no problem reading 2 350-page books, but then the moment a 700-page book shows up, I'm like, nope, that's too intimidating. And I'm like, but why aren't the 2 350-page ones like as intimidating? Because it's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
Have either of any of you like read We Hunt the Flame duology?
I didn't know that.
Huh?
I read the first book.
You liked it, Gabby? No, me neither. Like, I just honestly there was like I like in this one in the so that series in the second one I didn't care, but I still found it like I still could continue with the series. I still could like read the book, etc., and finish the third one. But there, every time I had free time to read, I was like looking at the book. Oh, please no! And that was so bad. And I decided to DNF it, and then read another book in no time. And I was like, okay, that was a sign I needed to
Mm.
stop that book. But again, it's a me issue. Um, I just I
Yeah.
don't know.
I read it and I really loved it, and now I'm
Yeah.
about 25% into the second one, and I just daren't continue because I'm scared of the pain. But at the same time, I'm not sure if it's me or if it's the book, but I'm just in a massive reading slump, and I feel like it's not helping me. So it's like, is it the book, or is it me, or is it a little bit of both, or I don't know. But at the same time, I also feel like if I read We Hunt the Flame again, I might not love it as much as I did the first time, because my tastes have evolved quite a bit since I read that, I think. So I'm not sure. Like, for now, like I really loved it. I gave it 5 stars and I finished it in like, I don't know, 6 hours or so. I just read it in one go. So
Yeah. I listened to it, and I don't know if I'd finish if I wasn't listening. I just like you said, I did not care for anyone or anything that happened, and I don't know what it was. I felt it was flowery writing, and I was listening to it, and I think that's why I didn't connect with it. Maybe if I read it physically, I'd enjoy it, but I just didn't. Have you read it, Kira?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it? I can't hear. Hanan had a question. She said, "Have you read Terra Ignota series?" I don't really know what that.
Don't know what it is.
I've never heard of
the last book's coming out soon. Oh, it's like a sci-fi. I've never seen this before. Hanan always comes comes out with less known, or the Thames Files. Are those the murder boat ones?
No.
Is that something else?
No, that's another series.
Oh,
it's Sleeping Giants. I got it on Libby, and I'm gonna listen to it at some point.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
it's got like, I know a little bit about it. It's got like a lot of I guess like androgynous life forms there, I think, if I remember right. And it's very like I heard it's like a very complex world building, but it is considered a science fiction.
Now I'm intrigued, but
I didn't realize the last book was getting ready to come out. Yeah.
But I do want to read the Sleeping Giants series, that one.
Oh, same. Same. I need to read that one.
Yeah, and Helen said
on my
that I had like a full cast, I think, audiobook, so I'm gonna try that. Libby has it. At least my Libby has it. So many books just staring me in the eye.
I mean,
I
it
read the
actually
first.
sounds good.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
read
Kira.
the first one. You're fine. I read the first one, Sleeping Giants, like a while back, and I had just finished the Illuminae files before that, like the entire trilogy. And for me, like my biggest hang up like with the Themis files was like that they didn't incorporate like enough sources, like because it was a multimedia, like once again, like source, like with video cameras and perspectives and stuff like that. And I think I got like kind of spoiled like with the Illuminae files because, or the Illuminae trilogy, because they used a lot more broad storytelling than the Themis files did. But I am willing to, I am curious to know how it ends, so I do still want to continue on with it. I just haven't.
Yeah, I saw it one time in the charity shop for like £2, and I didn't get it. And now I'm forever mad at myself. I was like, oh, I could have found it so cheap.
Yeah.
Didn't even realize it was multimedia. That's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. That's good.
Yes, maybe that's why they have full cast audiobook to like replicate it. Kind of.
Well, they use like news sources and video cameras and that kind of thing
Sorry?
to tell the story and interviews. It uses like interviews, like news stories and video cameras at some points, like to tell the story.
That'll be interesting. Yeah, can't wait for it to come.
Yeah.
To wait like 6 weeks for it or something. Oh, sad times.
What about the Children of Ruin? That's a duology. It's another science fiction, but like I heard it's really good. I haven't read that one.
Oh, it's on
I
my TBR. Children of Time, right?
Yes.
It's on my TBR. I want to read it. I have not read it, obviously, but I heard it was pretty good.
I heard it was pretty good too.
Have you read the Expanse series?
No, not yet. It's on my TBR.
Like the Leviathan Wakes is the first book, I think. Don't know. My boyfriend loves the TV show, so I'm like, maybe the book's good because I heard really good things about it.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
so
I think that's
many
up to like.
series.
I think that's supposed to be like a 10-book series in all. Yeah, it's a huge series.
What? How many books are out already?
I think I gotta look that up because like I know 8. I know they're up to 8 like right now, but I've been collecting the paperbacks. I'm not reading it until after they come out with them all.
Huh.
But I think they're getting like ready to release the last one.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There's so many series I want to read, but then when I look at them, it's like 6 books, 7 books, 8 books, and you need to commit. You know you're gonna love the story, but you still need to commit. And I'm just like,
Yeah, those like lately I'm in love with standalones or like duologies. But every duology I read turns out it's a trilogy in the end, and I'm like, it's not what I signed up for. Okay, I wanted the duology. Or like they've been doing it to standalones. They advertise it as standalone. I get it, and turns out it's a trilogy. It's just like this is not the transaction we made.
So I feel like they're doing like that though because like they know like that a lot of people aren't going to want to read it like right out the gate, like if they know like that they can't read and digest a whole story and know like everything. Because like me personally, like I don't like reading books like series like unless they're all out because like I don't want to wait for the next book. I get like I get very impatient and then eventually I get so impatient that I end up losing interest. So I'd rather just go ahead and binge like the whole series like while it's out.
Like that was me with An Ember in the Ashes, to be honest. And thanks to the Ember in the Ash long, hey, free promo for you guys. But I just basically refound my interest for that series because I really loved the first and the second book when I read them, and also the third one. But it's just the fourth one was delayed, and then they changed the covers, and then they you basically weren't able to get a full hardcover set, and just all those little things combined just made me like, you know what? Never mind.
Yeah.
So I definitely get that. I mean, it's kind of the same for Children of Blood and Bone. I didn't necessarily love that series.
Yeah.
Just right off the bat, I gave it 3 stars. But then the second one was published, and now it's been how long since the second one was published? And there's like literally no news on the third one.
Because it was a duology.
Nope, it's going to be like a 7-book series or something.
What?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a 7-book series or something. Maybe 5, but definitely more than a trilogy.
This is what I hate. Like trilogy I can handle, but you know when they're like come out, they're like, oh, it's like 7 books. I'm like, this is not what I signed up for.
Yeah, Goodreads says 3 books, but I know it's more.
What's safe? I don't know any series.
It's by John Gwynne. It's his other series. It's not Shadow of the Gods, but it's like Malice and
Malice. I just read Shadow
I really
of the Gods.
want to read that.
Good. Yeah, me too.
I want to read this one. There you go. I want to read this one as well at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would be up for a read along for this.
Yeah, me too.
Do you know what
Wait,
we're
what's the
talking
name
about?
of the first book? No, I cannot find it. What's the first?
Malice by John Gwynne.
I think
Yeah,
it's Malice.
Malice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is it Malice? Is it pronounced Malice? I thought it was Malice.
I think it is Malice, but I pronounce it weird, so
Okay.
I
I
had to do a double take.
I'm not a native speaker, so I mess up on pronunciation like plenty of times. So if I'm saying something and it's not pronounced that way, please correct me because I won't be mad. I'll actually be happy that you do that. So
I'll be honest, like when you
Sounds
depending on like what part of the United States you're from, it's either caramel or caramel.
right.
Like
Mm.
we talk about this all the time. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I mean, as a non-native speaker, I tend to put the emphasis on the wrong, or not, maybe not tend, but especially in words that I haven't really pronounced and only read, I will put emphasis on the wrong syllable. So yeah. Like if you notice me doing that, please do correct me. I won't hate you for it. So
I mean, usually it's like you put the emphasis differently in the States and in UK and then in Australia. So you might be right.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Even like within a country, there's so many accents. You really never really doing it wrong because someone somewhere in rural England is saying it like you're saying it. So it's fine.
Yeah. So like one of the most recent examples is like for my thesis, I used the word like, well, I'm not sure what the right pronunciation is. See, that's kind of the issue here, but it's like contemporaneous or contemporaneous. Like I think it might be the first one, but it's like in my head, I always say contemporaneous, but that's probably wrong. But I just heard it the other way around, and I was like, whoa, like. And just like those kinds of words. The same with like iridescent or iridescent. Like for me, it's just both would be possible, and I'm sure people would understand me, but I just don't know what the like right pronunciation is.
Yeah.
I think it's iridescent, but it's not a kind of word that you use. You only read it, really, right? Like I've never said it in real life, so it's
according to like the rules for pronunciation I was taught at university, it's actually iridescent because emphasis should go on the pre-penultimate syllable, which is like not the last one, not the one before that, but the one before that. So, but then he also said like, yeah, well, basically half the English language is an exception to that rule. So English makes no sense from, that kind of standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
I guess you have that in different languages. Like I went to school in Brussels, so I have a different accent, and I work in Wallonia, and every day. So we speak French, but every day I'm learning new words or how to pronounce things or whatever. And every time I'm going to talk to a client, oh, you went to school in Brussels? I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same language, and it's like my language. I mean, one of them. So it's not like even English or whatever. So like,
no, yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah. My boyfriend is learning Polish, and I feel so bad every time he comes and he asks me, "Oh, so what's the rule here?" I'm like, well, you just kind of gotta know it. It's not really like a rule, and if there is a rule, basically everything's an exception anyway. So it's like I wouldn't. And he keeps trying to make these rules in his head to make it easier. But I'm like, sure, that's true for like half the time, but most of the time it's not true. But I just give it to him. But then I feel so bad. Just like
that's one of the things I struggle with most in French. It's like articles, like which ones are masculine, which ones are feminine, because I'm really not sure there's any rules for that. Like in Italian, it's if a noun ends in an O, it will generally be masculine, and if a noun ends in an A, it will generally be feminine. I mean, that's easy. Those are clear rules that I can work with. But in French, I have no idea what the rules are.
I don't understand. Like, I have the same issue even with French. Like, a table is gonna be feminine in French, and then I'm gonna switch to Boston, and it is masculine, and then back to French, and I'm gonna say masculine table, and I'm just like, why is it feminine? Why is it masculine? Why not neutral?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
mean,
had that learning French because Polish is a gendered language as well, and you just know what's the gender. I don't know. I just grew up knowing what's the gender everything, right? And in French, it's not one to one. It's like differs. So you're like, well, how am I gonna remember this?
Yeah. I mean, in Dutch, we do have masculine and feminine, but it doesn't make a difference. Both of like the articles for masculine and feminine are both de, and then for neuter nouns, it's het. That's like the only difference. And there's no, I mean, for adverbs or anything, they don't change along with the noun. I mean, we just have the one form and that's it. So that's, I think, from a reason why I struggle with it, because for me, I didn't grow up with nouns being masculine or feminine. They were just nouns. It was either de or het.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess I actually grew up with like being it's feminine or masculine, like with Boston languages, because if it's feminine, even the verb is going to be different, like the ending of the verb. So you don't even need to know that you're talking about something feminine, because the verb is going to tell you that it was like. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's just the fact that it's not the same in French and in Boston. I'm like, why?
No, but like in French, if you have like a feminine noun, then your adverbs and everything will also be feminine. They will generally have an extra e, like la femme française.
Adjectives, like adjectives, not
Sorry,
adverbs. Yeah, no, it's okay. That's why I didn't make the connection. But yeah, adjectives.
Yeah, if it's like la femme française, you have an extra e, but if it's man, it's l'homme français. It doesn't have the extra e at the end. So it changes along, but in Dutch, it doesn't.
Oh,
in
true.
Polish, we don't have like the la le. It's just the word itself. From the word, you know whether it's feminine or if you're a native speaker. Otherwise, you have to memorize it basically because it doesn't mean much to you. But as someone who grew up speaking the language, I know what the word is, but it has gender in it. I don't put any like thing before it, kind of thing.
Yeah, you don't even like. I don't know if it's similar to Boston, but I guess it is. You don't put he or she or I or whatever unless you want to.
Like, usually it's included in the word.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So there's like 1,000 versions of one word.
Yeah, and even your name, like for instance, it is Natasha's. Like, how to say that? It is from her. It is hers. So it's gonna be Natashin or Natashinov, or it is Sanatosham. Like even my name, the ending of it's gonna change depending on its place in a sentence. Like I don't know how to explain that, but
no, Spanish is the same. Like it changes depending on like what it's doing. Like whether I'm holding something or it's about
like
me, when it's to me.
I was just about to say, this is giving me a Latin and Greek flashback because depending on where the word is in a sentence, it's going to change its form, and just the form is going to tell you what the function in the sentence is, like whether it's subject or
ablative, genitive, blah blah blah.
Please don't. Please don't.
Rosa, Rosa, Rosa.
Yeah. No, I took Latin for 2 years and like ancient Greek for 1, but then I was forced to drop both because I was like my grade was insufficient on Latin because I didn't care about Latin. I just wanted to keep Greek because my grade was like 10 out of 10 on that. But I wasn't allowed to keep Greek because my Latin wasn't up to speed, so I was sad. But I mean, oh well, I still graduated with 4 languages regardless, so whatever.
That's a good job.
Okay, so conclusion of this is next read along is Faithful and the Fallen Saga, I suppose.
How many books does that have?
Yeah, I think 4.
4.
Okay, that's doable. I was like, if it's like 10, we're committing to a year.
There is open 1, 0.2, to 0.4. I don't know if you want to go. Let me.
Short stories.
Yeah, we can make it like an extra instead of like a whole month or something.
There is a 1.5. There is a 4.5.
That's
But yeah, there are 4 main books.
Okay, all right, that's the good. Yeah, oh, that's really exciting because I've been like, I don't think I'll ever read this book if I read it by myself because some thick.
Same.
Hannah just said some thick books too. Lovely.
Yeah.
It's okay, we can do it. We did this, chunky boy.
Like for thick books, I still remember when I ordered my signed copies of The Priory of the Orange Tree hardback from Waterstones, and it was 2. I ordered one for Esme as well, and then my mail delivery guy literally asked me like, "What did you order? A pair of bricks?" And I'm like, close enough. They're like 2 800-page books, so basically they're kind of bricks. So I mean, same size, really.
I think that's the biggest book I own, like so big.
Yeah.
And I listened to an audiobook as well, and it was like 40 hours or something. It's just...
Yeah, I do think that is just
I
trying to
think
see if I have any bigger books.
Oh yeah, maybe Game of Thrones. I don't know if you own any, but
Yeah.
I feel like I get scared like starting like big books because I have that useless pressure on myself. Like I need to finish the book by the end of the month, and I'm just like, no, you don't. You can read the same book for 2 months, but as I want to finish it for the TBR or the wrap ups or whatever, I like. No, you don't have time for that. You have other books you need to read. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah, I'm always like, when is the last day of the month? I'm like, I could squeeze it in and not carry it over to next month. And I did that. So I finished 2 books. But to be fair, one of them was like Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and it was a thriller. So I was just like, shh. Anyway, but
yeah.
Come on, you can do it.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we'll talk about this Malice read-along stuff behind the scenes first.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And I guess you'll know when we know, I think.
Yeah. Gonna be better with Twitter updates. I was always like forgetting. It's like,
yeah, and I think it was so chaotic in the end, at least. I'm not sure how you felt, but for me, just it turned very chaotic, and I'm not even sure why, but it just felt that way. Not because we were shifting things around, but just life.
Yeah, but that's like the end. It's not the end of the year, but academical it is. So it feels like there is a shift and the season and everything going on for the summer and everything going on in the world changing and blah, blah. I feel like it was, I mean, life felt chaotic.
Yeah, I mean, I have a thesis left to finish, so, and I don't want to, but I have to.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we'll wrap it up here because for the last half hour we talked about not Dreams of Gods and Monsters.
Yeah, but it was fun. Thank you for joining. Fun and mainly. You're the best.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.